step back in time to ancient Rome, a world where warriors faced off in deadly combat for the entertainment of the masses. Gladiators, as they were known, led lives unlike any other. In this video, we unravel the reasons why these valiant fighters were denied the fundamental right to marry their loved ones. Their journey takes us through a world of danger, prejudice, and social stigma, shedding light on a captivating and often tragic chapter of history. Join us as we explore the untold story of why gladiators couldn't find love and companionship in the arena of their life. Imagine living in a world where your job was to fight for your life every day. That's what life was like for gladiators in ancient Rome. They weren't regular athletes. They were fierce fighters who battled in deadly contests to entertain the Roman people. Gladiators had a tough life. Their training was hard, meant to make them strong and skilled. They had to be fast, strong, and smart. It was a disciplined life that left little time for anything else. In this world, there was no room for distractions like family. Gladiators needed all their focus for training and fighting. Getting married and having a family could take their attention away from their job. The truth is, gladiators faced not only other fighters, but also dangerous animals in the arena. Death was a real possibility. Getting married and having a family meant putting their loved ones in danger. In this tough and dangerous life, having a family just didn't make sense. Gladiators needed to be completely focused on their job, and love and family could get in the way. Picture a world where every time you went to work, you might seriously get hurt or even killed. For gladiators, this was their reality. They weren't just athletes, they were warriors who fought in battles to the death for the entertainment of the Roman crowd. Gladiators had tough training, but it was nothing compared to the real fights in the arena. They faced danger every time they stepped into that sandy battleground. They could get hurt badly or even lose their lives in the process. Imagine being married and having kids in a world like that. It would mean your family had to live with the constant fear that you might not come back from work one day. It wasn't a safe life for anyone, especially not for families. The people who watched the gladiator games loved the excitement, but they didn't have to face the danger. Gladiators knew that getting married and having a family would put their loved ones through a lot of pain and worry. So in this world of violence and uncertainty, getting married and starting a family was a risk that most gladiators couldn't take. They had to focus on their battles and stay alive. Now let's step into the shoes of a gladiator in ancient Rome. These were not heroes. They were often seen as criminals or outcasts forced to fight for the amusement of others. Imagine if you were married to a gladiator. The people around you would look down on you and your family. They might treat you as if you were from a lower class. Life would be tough, and people would whisper behind your back. As a gladiator spouse, you would face discrimination and social rejection. People would avoid you, and you might even lose friends. All of this simply because of who your husband was and what he did for a living. So in this world, where gladiators were seen as less than others, having a family with them would mean that you and your loved ones would be treated unfairly. The stigma and social pressure would just be too much to bear. For most gladiators and their potential partners, this was a heavy burden that made marriage and family seem almost impossible. In the world of gladiators, something very important was missing: their freedom. Gladiators were not free people. They were considered property owned by others. This meant that they had no say in their own lives, including who they can marry. They had zero control over their own future. Gladiators couldn't decide who they wanted to spend their lives with because someone else, their owner, had that power. Others could do whatever they pleased with their gladiators. They could sell them to other owners or even decide to end their lives if they wanted. It was a grim reality for these fighters. So even if a gladiator wanted to marry, they had to get permission from their owner, but most owners didn't want their gladiators to get married because it could disrupt their training and fighting. In this world, where ownership took away personal freedom, the idea of marriage became even more complicated and difficult for gladiators. They were controlled by someone else, and that control extended to their personal lives. Now let's explore the few exceptions and alternative paths some gladiators took in their pursuit of love and companionship. Although the rules against marriage were strict, There were occasional exceptions. Gladiators who had earned the trust and favor of their owners through numerous victories might be granted permission to marry. However, these cases were rare and far from the norm. For many gladiators, the ban on marriage led to informal relationships with women. These relationships were not recognized by the law, but they provided some companionship and emotional support in an otherwise harsh and solitary life. In these informal unions, gladiators and their partners formed bonds outside the legal constraints. Love found a way, even if it couldn't be officially acknowledged. These relationships offered a glimmer of humanity in a world dominated by brutality. So while marriage remained largely off limits for gladiators, they sought solace and companionship in unconventional ways, creating their own paths to love amidst the challenges of their existence. As we dive into the later years of the Roman Empire, we encounter a shifting landscape in the lives of gladiators. During this time, there was a gradual change in the ban on marriage for these warriors. However, this change unfolded alongside a monumentous shift: the decline of the gladiatorial games themselves. The once thriving spectacles of combat that had mesmerized Roman authorities were gradually losing their allure. The public's appetite for bloodshed and battle was waning, marking the twilight of a glorious era. By the time gladiators were finally permitted to marry, it was a bittersweet victory. The grand days of gladiatorial combat were slipping into the annals of history. The world these warriors had known was fading away. The last recorded gladiatorial games took place in 404 AD, and with them, an era came to an end. While the ban on marriage had indeed loosened for gladiators in the later Roman Empire, it arrived too late to reshape their destiny significantly. Their lives have been profoundly influenced by the choices and constraints of their time. As we reflect on this period, we witness the poignant end of a chapter in history, a chapter defined by the ban on marriage and the transformation of a once mighty spectacle into a distant memory. In the shadows of the Colosseum, where the cheers of the crowd once echoed, we uncover the harsh realities of the lives of gladiators. Denied the right to marry, they were caught in a world where love and family were distant dreams. Their stories serve as a reminder of the sacrifices demanded by the brutal spectacle of ancient Rome, a stark testament to the human spirit's resilience in the face of adversity. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and don't forget to leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought about this topic. See you next time, and bye for now.